Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Welcome back, baseball family, to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig. I'll be driving. I got the Brad Man here with me. How are you, Brad Man?
I'm doing good, Brig. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just
How are your
fine
allergies?
and dandy. Ooh, they are kicking my butt, but I'm hopped up on all kinds of allergy meds and 700 milligrams of caffeine, and we are good to go.
Feels like that'll like get you
much.
level, right?
Yeah.
That much caffeine, that many antihistamines. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're operating at zero.
Yeah.
We're good, though.
We're good. The slate is clean. The slate is clean. Tomorrow, crash. But tonight,
Yes.
right now, we're good to go, okay? Baseball family, we want to thank you for being here with us. We don't want to do this without you. We wouldn't do it without you. And we're grateful that you're here. Don't forget that you can follow us on all the social media platforms. Specifically, YouTube is the best way to get a hold of us. That's where we put all of the content we create. It's kind of the central hub. So don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube machine. You're probably listening to this Tuesday if you're listening to the full episode. If you're listening to this, chopped up, you might be on another day. But we drop episodes Tuesdays. We drop episodes Sundays, and then Thursday night we go live. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's Thursday nights, 9:30 Eastern time.
And then you can find the audio for that every Friday morning as well.
Yep.
If
And
you
that'll
just
be
prefer the audio platforms.
Yeah, anywhere you consume your audio, Apple, Spotify, etc. So, there you go. That's a little bit of housekeeping. One of the last things I want to talk about really quickly is Chinook seeds, because they are the best seeds ever. We love sunflower seeds, obviously. Brad and I do. You got Parma Pep today. Ho, ho, ho!
I'm setting them aside for tomorrow. I'd like to eat seeds during my commute. Because I got to go in a couple times a week. So, yeah, I'm going to be eating those during my commute tomorrow.
Outstanding. I'm a Parma Pep purist. Brad is an equal opportunity seed consumer. But what we both agree on is that Chinook seeds are the best seeds ever. And we reached out to them and got you 10% off. It supports us. It supports you. It supports the best seeds ever. So go to ChinookSeedery.com and use code BTPOD at checkout. That's how you get your discount, support us, and get literally the best seeds ever. All right. First things first, and this is very exciting. We have got to talk about City Connects. We've had 3 drops since we last jumped in here and talked about them. The Marlins dropped theirs, the White Sox dropped theirs, and then the D-backs dropped theirs. And we have reactions, we have thoughts and feelings, and we're going to get into it right now. Brad, we're going to start with the Marlins.
Do it.
They really leaned into, this is 2.0 for those of you who, might be catching up. Their first one, I ranked as among my top of all the City Connect uniforms in the 1.0 recap. This one is very different. They've taken an entirely different direction. So what they've said, Major League Baseball, some of the stuff from their website, they're calling it the Retro Wave uniform. And influenced by, they're saying, a global convergence of influences, bold colors, and they're painting the Magic City landscape. The new look honors the city's love for baseball while blending the past, present, and the future. Now, here's a couple of the details. The cap. Let's talk about the cap, because there's a specific couple of things. First, it says 305. 305 is the area code for the city's telephone numbers. They'll be listed as 305 to begin. I've seen the 305, the area code thing done before. I think it was 05 or 06 the first time I saw it. I was in Missoula, and the University of Montana had that on their caps. And I was like, what is 406 or whatever it was? And people were like,
there was one of the first iterations of a City Connect. Somebody did the area code. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But
yeah.
It's been used in the last couple of years. So it's not the first time. I think this is a little more bold than what it was before.
It is,
putting it on
because
front center of the
they've
hat.
done the 305, but then they've got the Marlin wrapping around it coming out of the O, or through the zero rather, and out in front. So it's all in that. They probably have a funky name for it, but that's that coral blue, that like electric coral blue. And then it's all piped in that pink, that like laser pink color, with black as its foundation. But if you'll notice on the visor, Brad, it is again like with the Giants' new City Connect uniform. We've got a gradient in what looks to be almost a metallic finish, or some sort of shimmery, reflective material.
I think that's Miami blue. If it's their typical blue, it's Miami blue.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then Caliente red.
Caliente red. Got it. But it's not. It's pink. So get after it.
Right. The pink is pink.
Oh, no.
But I think the blue is Miami blue.
No, they're calling it teal and pink. So teal represents the past. The teal sparked a legacy within the inaugural 1993 club. Pink accents the bright lights that paint an electric glow across the city skyline where the party never ends, which we all know from Will Smith. He told us.
Right, absolutely. But that makes sense. That makes sense because on the on the hat it looked like it was Miami blue, but on the jersey it does look teal.
Yep.
So I get it now. I get it.
Okay. All right.
I see it.
So they asked Sandy Alcantara what he thought of the cap, and he said it's amazing. He said it's different, and it's going to look very, very good on us. So he says he hopes the fans like it. Baseball family, what do you think of this cap specifically? Let's get into the uniforms, the jerseys themselves. Xavier Edwards, who's the shortstop, says that he thinks that he loves this whole thing. He likes the hats and everything, but he says the pants are really what put this together. So we'll get to the pants in a minute. But the uniform jersey features a black background, and then it's got not only the teal and the pink do they dominate, but then they've got that coral, caliente red, and that Miami blue streaking through there. And I say streaking because it is a horizontal pinstripe that is incomplete, almost like a motion blur or a motion streak lines that you would see.
It feels
and it is incomplete. They don't touch.
Right, and I think the idea behind that was the nightlife, because I'm sure that a lot of this comes into the Miami nightlife, that if you're taking a time-lapse photo of anything that has light, anything that's moving, that's kind of the vibe that you're going to, that's kind of the visual that you're going to get from it. I think that's what they were going for with this, because it definitely gives that off.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And they're also citing it as a dynamic, which I'm quoting here, reflects the evolving culture of Miami, whose beat embodies purpose and uniqueness. That's what they say.
Neat.
The Miami, it says Miami across the chest, and they're saying the word mark is like a time traveler, channeling classic elegance reminiscent of the Florida Marlins, which is where the teal comes from, with lettering as energetic as the city's roots. And if you look at the way the word mark is designed, it does have those sharp points like they did in the 90s and 2000s Miami Florida Marlins word marks. So super cool. Obviously they'll have the ADT patch on the side, but they've gone ahead and adapted it to the City Connect uniform. So the ADT patch this time is black, and it's the ADT letters are outlined in blue, and then the patch has that gradient stitching around it. Now, I think that's awesome. I think I'd have to go back and look, but this possibly is the first time we've seen a sleeve patch sponsor alter their logo to fit in with the City Connect design. I could be wrong.
I think with the City Connect, I think you're right. Because the one that I know altered initially was the first one I think that we ever saw was the Padres with Motorola.
That's right.
They went with the brown logo to match the rest of the uniform. Which I think, honestly, like, as a brand, like, I understand branding and color, right? I work in marketing. I understand. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time, though, like, don't make it an eyesore. Let these teams alter it to match their colors so that it's not, so that it's still going to stand out. People are still going to see what it is. They know that it's there.
Yeah.
Just don't make it an eyesore. Do this.
Yep. Yeah. No, this is classy. This is really classy.
Looks
The
good.
jock tag. There's a jock tag, obviously, and it says from the beaches to the ballpark, the Miami Marlins celebrate the Sunshine State, which embraces the history, celebrates today, and looks to build a legacy for tomorrow. Anyway, what do you think so far, Brad? Like overall, we haven't seen it on the field yet. Oh, I forgot to mention
Oh, we did.
the sleeves. Oh yeah, that's right. The sleeves though have a band around the cuff. The cuff on the sleeve is also like the
That
Giants 2.0. It's got that it's colorful up against the black.
So we did see it this weekend. In fact, Brig, we saw it on the day that the Marlins walked off the A's with a grand salami.
Yeah.
So we were sitting and watching this game just because it was on, something fun to watch, and it ended up being a really super fun finish. But these jerseys look so cool. And I'll go back to this, Brig, the thing that we don't get to see a lot of times when they drop these is what the helmet looks like. The helmet looks so cool because it's black.
Yeah.
Just like the hat, has that gradient across the front on the bill, or on the I guess it is technically a visor on the helmet.
Yeah.
And then on the sides, it has like almost like Tron, right? Like going down the side, and it looks really cool. I'm gonna give them a 10 out of 10 on the jersey on this. I love this. When we're in Miami next year, I might need to cop one because I love it that much. However, I will not be touching that hat with a 10-foot pole because if you take Brig, if you take the Marlin off that hat, that is a gas station hat.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the 305 off, and I understand, as somebody who has never even been to Miami, much less lived there, 305 is meaningless to me. However, somebody who's born and raised in the 305, like they are probably going to love this hat. But as a baseball fan, if it just had the Marlin on it with that sweet bill on it, I'd be buying a hat.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Now, I forgot to bring up the socks and the pants because the pants, they could have gone with black and we could have ended up with pajama pants again or some weird streaky pinstripe, horizontal pinstripe thing. We didn't. They gave us white. Thank goodness, because they look so slick against white. And then the piping up either side of the pants are also in that gradient. They go from pink at the hip, they go down to the blue toward the knee, and then all the way blue as they taper into the ankle. Fabulous. Same with the gradient sort of ombre socks. Terrific.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I love these. I love them. I don't know if I like them better than 1.0, but man, is it just different enough to not have to choose between them.
Right.
That's how
the
I feel.
1.0 was so good. And I love that they didn't take a step back. That they're just like, you know what? This was awesome. Let's do something different, but it's got to be great too.
Like, and it is so different. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
The one of the other things about this is one of the first things that I noticed about it is that if you buy anything that is like quote unquote South Beach flavored, like an energy drink or something, this is what it looks like as well.
That's exactly. This is exactly what you're gonna get.
I like that.
Every energy drink, every pre-workout, every sour candy,
flavored
everything.
Themed.
That's right.
Yeah, it looks like this.
And it'll have a coconut in the background. Like it's gonna taste pina colada a little bit. All right, let's move on. The White Sox are the next one we're gonna break down. They released theirs as well. First things first, let's start with cap. It's got a red crown. Sorry, it's a black crown, red visor. The eyelets are black. On the front is a white sock. And then it is outlined in red, and it has wings coming off of the sock. Also in black and red.
Do they have two hats?
They do.
Because I'm seeing two on this page.
Yep, they have two.
Yeah, I saw the one, and I was like, wait, and then you're describing the opposite of what I'm seeing. So it looks like they have two hats.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. So this is the main on the field cap, though. and they've got
Okay.
again White Sox. The sock itself has Chicago stitched onto the white sock, also in white, and then again with the sort of wings off of it. The visor is red, the squatchy is red, the eyelets are black. Okay, the uniform itself is well. Okay, do you remember the Bulls? The Chicago Bulls from the 90s? That's basically what we have. It's like if
Yeah.
the Bulls released a baseball uniform on some kind of appreciation night for the first 5,000 fans that showed up to watch Michael Jordan play. That's what
Well,
this is.
They have crossover jersey giveaways, and this looks like something you would get at a Bulls game.
Yep.
You know what would have made it better though? Or sorry, not
What?
even a Bulls game. If they did a Bulls crossover jersey giveaway at a White Sox game, they should have made this a vest. If they were going to do that, just lean into it and make it a vest.
That is exactly what I was going to say, because what we've got is a vested jersey design. It is
Yeah.
cut off at the sleeve where the sleeve stitching begins and becomes a black sleeve with a red stripe and then words running through it so as to look like three stripes, red, black, red, but it's not. It's one bold red with words in black running through it. And then the vested portion, the body, the torso of the jersey, is bright Chicago Bulls red with black widespread pinstripes. They've got to be an inch apart, but it is a thin pinstripe, just like the Bulls. It says Chicago across the front in an arc. It's black with white piping. It doesn't just look. It is exactly the same as the 90s Bulls jerseys.
I want to know something even better. On the back,
Yeah.
on the top where the tag is, 91, 92, 93, 96, 97, 98.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, those are the 2 3-peats of the Bulls in the 90s.
Yep. Well, and I think those are. It's not just the Bulls championships. I think it's also the White Sox championships.
They have them on there because they have 06, 17, 05.
That's
But
what I thought.
in
Yeah.
red, in the middle, those years are
Yeah,
highlighted.
the red ones. Correct.
Yeah, so I remember when this leaked, people were like, oh man, it looks like a Bulls jersey. Like, what are they doing? Like, no, this is a Bulls jersey. Like, they were not being subtle about it at all.
No, that's exactly right. So, okay.
Yeah.
The pants are black. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Hold on. Let me keep continuing. Wow. The pants are black. The jock tag has a crossover. They're calling it Scott's crossover tag is what it is. And it has the White Sox on one side logo, the Bulls logo on the opposite side if you cut it in half, and then between them is a baseball diamond with CHI in the center of the diamond. So they play with color. I'm not going to get into how detailed it is, but they play with color, with merging and shifting. Now the pants have the same bold red stripe down the sides as are on the sleeve cuff, and it's bright red with words running through it in black, and what it says is South Side repeated more than 3 times. It just says South Side, South Side, South Side, South Side.
Just in a circle.
All the way down. Yep. They're calling it bread in Chicago. Is the theme.
B-R-E-D.
That's the B-R-E-D, bread. Yep. Now, the winged sock is a tribute to legends, is what they're saying. A symbol soars, representing the city's pursuit of excellence. Wah, wah. Nobody cares.
Well, so the thing that I think is really funny about this whole thing is that they're like, we're paying tribute to legends, we're paying tribute to the great Bulls teams, specifically one player, but we're not going to say his name because we don't want to have to pay him royalties for every jersey that is sold. So we're just going to put wings instead of somebody jumping, as to show that these socks can fly, just like one other person who will remain unnamed.
But is also in the air.
Yes. Is famous for being in the air.
It says airborne. Chicago Airborns.
Because we give him enough money as it is. We don't need to be giving him some of our baseball money. So,
and it is not Scottie Pippen. Okay, although it maybe should be sometimes.
well, that's a whole other discussion for another
Yeah,
day.
it really is. Yeah, and boy, could we really get into that. That was rough.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
Brad, what do you think? What's your opinion on this? I think I know.
All right.
But...
So here's the thing: if I was going through and I was collecting jerseys, right?
Yeah.
I've on the record. I'm a big basketball fan. I love basketball. It's the other sport I grew up playing. Like I love basketball so much, and to have a baseball jersey that pays homage to the '90s Bulls who broke everybody's hearts, right?
And records.
That would actually be really cool. But the fact that you're replacing the inverted pinstripe with this makes me sad, legitimately, because those inverted pinstripe jerseys that the uniforms that the White Sox got the first time around are some of the best things I have ever seen in my life when it comes to baseball uniforms.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I've seen
I
some
agree.
kids run around at spring training games with some pretty sweet travel ball uniforms, right?
No doubt.
Like, but
No
those
doubt.
those White Sox City Connect 1.0 were the best, and to go here and have it be unoriginal is really upsetting.
You said exactly what I was going to say.
That's the biggest thing.
I literally could not have said it any better. They took the best. They took 500 steps backward. Okay, maybe it was 200 steps. I don't know. But it was a lot. They went backward a lot. And it was a tribute, but it feels, I don't know, cheap, maybe?
Yeah.
Or half
Well, it's
halfway,
the fact
or...
that it feels like something that was given that would have been given away for free.
Yeah.
10 years ago, maybe, or whatever, on
Yeah.
an anniversary of the Bulls winning a title, like maybe in 2021 you wanted to say, oh, let's celebrate 30 years of the Bulls' first title of the 2 3-peats. Like, let's give away a jersey. This is what you would have given away.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a City Connect. But on the other hand, though, like, I do understand the purpose of the City Connect initiative. I understand they're trying to appeal to people who are not baseball fans, because that city for a long time was a Bulls town and a Cubs town, right?
That's it.
So,
yeah,
as the quote unquote little brother in town of the baseball team, like, you've got to appeal to one of the larger fan bases that's not the Cubs.
And in that case, this is a great success.
And it probably will be. I bet it'll sell really well. But for me, as an outsider looking in, again, like I said, the Miami thing, like, it's not the best. I would probably buy it if I was looking to collect, but I much prefer the first iteration.
Yeah. For me, they could have changed. It would have changed everything for me if it had been an actual vest. If they had actually had the cut-off sleeves. I also hate the wings. Hate it. Everything about the wings.
It looks campy.
It's so dumb. It looks like clip art. And anytime anything looks like clip art, I'm going to be upset. If they had taken the single sock, white like it is, and left the wings off, fine. I know people are going to say it's too much like a Red Sox hat at that point, but you've got Chicago stitched in there. Leave it alone. The wings ruined it. They ruined it. And there is an alternate that is a red visor, or a black visor with a red cap and black stripes, which is exactly the same as the body of the jersey. It looks a little better, but not enough to win.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, last one. The Diamondbacks released their 2.0 City Connect. If you'll remember, Arizona's first City Connect was the Cervantes sand color, and they were pajamas. And now we've got
with a black hat.
With a black hat. Now we've got a full reimagining, and it goes all the way back to those 90s and early 2000s D-backs, purple and teal. And have we not been calling for purple and teal in Arizona? That is exactly
Brig.
Exactly.
Everybody's been calling for purple and teal in Arizona.
You right?
The local Little League in fall, they let you choose the colors that you wear. It's either fall or or spring. I can't remember which season, but they let you choose your team's colors, and then they'll print jerseys for you, and then they'll get you socks and a belt and everything. And
Perfect.
I would be sitting in the coaches' meeting at the beginning of the season, and the coaches were fighting over who was going to wear purple and teal because they all wanted it.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
I just want navy blue and teal, guys. Just that's all I want.
Which is weird.
I never got it.
So they are this is really cool. Okay, they're saying as a snake sheds its skin, it is rejuvenated, transformed, and reborn. And so they're saying, okay, I know we haven't changed the name of the City Connect. We're still sticking with the Serpientes.
Serpientes.
Yeah, but what we're going to do is we're going to change the way it looks, and I think it's so awesome. The collar is in teal on the inside of the collar. It's the only major sports team born with Arizona in its name. This motto pays homage to a legacy rooted in the desert and built for the entire state. Thought that's really cool. The cap is purple on the crown, teal on the visor. The S logo is still the snake S. It's in teal, squatchy teal, eyelets purple. The jock tag has the outline of the state of Arizona, and it says 1998 in there in teal, which was the establishment of the team was in 1998. And then the 9 and the 8 are subdivided and overlaid with a subtle white that transforms the 9 also into a 4 and overlays the 8 to coincide because Arizona is the 48th state in the United States. That's above and beyond. I don't think very many people are going to care, but that's how much detail and care has gone into this.
That's like a thing. That's like a big thing in Arizona. A lot of people are buying they buy state 48 stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's actually a really cool thing.
And then they've got the flag patch, and it is Arizona's state flag, but it is reimagined in the color scheme that we're representing here. But instead of the sun that is in the state flag center, they've got the A logo for the D-backs, and it's freaking sweet. It's they're doing on white
just
pants.
Make that the state flag because that's sick.
yeah. They've got now. What's cool about the uniforms is that they've also gone with a vested look. So the torso is that rich purple, and it's got almost like a diamond
pinstripe. Yeah.
So they're small diamonds that are stacked atop one another, and they run down, and they're wider even than they were with the bulls. Yeah, the what?
They're consummate diamonds.
Consummate diamonds. I'm like, stop it. They've also got a subtle diamond snakeskin sort of diamond design in the cuff on the sleeve, which is also in a metallic teal. The word mark is a metallic teal. It's got the snake S. The tail runs all the way through underneath like a classic ribbon underneath old school baseball names for word marks.
Did you do the hat? I was looking something up.
I did the hat.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that hat. So one thing that's really cool about the hat is this is the first time they'll be using that Serpientes, the S logo on the field. Because I checked, I was like, didn't they do that? No, they had the A logo on the old hat. They're using it now, and it's really cool because it. And this is the thing. It's it's kind of nice, having some of this insight around here. Is that that stuff is super popular. I see a ton of City Connect jerseys just around town with people. And every time I'm like, man, that's really ugly, but that's a cool design. And now I'm going to see this. And every time I see somebody, I'm dap them up like, dude, sick jersey. Because I love this so much. It's awesome.
It is.
But what I was looking up though, Brig, was that Arizona born, like I said, they're the only major sports team born with Arizona in its name. So if you're wondering about the Arizona Cardinals, before they were in Arizona, they were the St. Louis Cardinals. And even when they got to Phoenix, they were the Phoenix Cardinals for several years. And actually, they were the Chicago Cardinals before they were in St. Louis. So, so the Arizona Diamondbacks expansion, born in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the Phoenix Suns, there was the Phoenix Coyotes, and then
Yeah,
the Arizona Cardinals. So
it's awesome.
the only one.
That is cool. Thank you for being local and knowing stuff.
I try.
Okay. All right. Now, before we move on from the City Connect uniforms, let's put it through the test. Okay. How good is Miami's? And the question is, if you had to buy a Miami Marlins uniform, is this the first one you would go to?
No. Oh, the jersey, like of the
The
available
jersey.
jerseys.
Of all
Okay.
Miami Marlins available jerseys, is this the one you would go for?
Okay. So we have to put the caveat with that. City
Okay.
Connect 1.0 is not available. Not going to be available anymore, most likely.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So we
the
have to take
problem.
that out. If
Do we?
1.0 is not available, yes,
Okay. Okay.
I am buying it. Not
Okay.
buying the hat. I will do them separate.
I see.
Buying a jersey, not buying a hat.
Okay. Of all the Marlins uniform iterations, if I was going to buy a Marlins jersey, this is the one I would buy. If, like you said, 1.0 is not available, I still love
Right.
1.0. Okay,
Yeah.
of all of the Chicago White Sox available uniforms that you could buy, is this the one you would buy?
It's tough. I really like the red and the blue that just says
Black.
Sox on it. No. Like the white
The
with the
80s
red and
one.
blue.
Yeah.
The 80s one. I love that.
The 80s and 90s one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm a big basketball fan, so probably it's either this one or the 80s one.
Okay. This would be the last one I would probably
Yeah.
buy of theirs. And, okay, of the D-backs, is this the one you would buy if you had to buy one D-backs uniform?
I gotta say, they're all sick. I'll be honest with you. They have some really good looks. But
They
yeah.
do.
And I might just actually. At very least, I'm
Yeah.
gonna buy the hat.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if we could talk about the hats, they're all. I think my answers flip a little bit with the caps, but yeah, this is easily the D-backs uniform I would buy if I had to buy one right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so cool.
It's so sweet. All right, that is the City Connect portion of the show. We're gonna go really quick and talk about this next thing, which is really awesome. Okay. In 2025, MLB has decided that it is going to build into the schedule a rivalry weekend. It is a dedicated portion of the schedule where rivalry games will be played. Okay? This is something I think they're planning on doing every year moving forward, but this is the first one. It's the 16th through the 18th. All the series are going to begin on Friday, except for the one in Texas, which begins Thursday. They're calling that the Silver Boot Series. Now, some of these make a lot of sense, Brad.
Okay.
Some of them make less sense than the others do, which is fine. And I found out why, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The ones that make less sense. I've got the justification figured out. Okay, but I'm going to run down these. The Astros will be in Arlington playing the Rangers for the Silver Boot Series. That starts Thursday. That's rivalry game number 1. Historically, the Rangers outplay the Astros by 2 games, 144 to 142. That's
actually really interesting.
I
Yeah.
think so too. This all-time games played against each other. White Sox and Cubs, the Crosstown Classic. Historically, the White Sox have outperformed the Cubs 78 to 74. Also really interesting. Okay. Cleveland's baseball club will play the Reds. They call it the Ohio Cup. Historically, Cleveland wins 76 to 59.
That checks
Pirates,
out.
Phillies. This one's awesome. You ready? Pirates, Phillies. This dates back to 1887 when it was the Philadelphia Quakers versus the Pittsburgh Alleghenies. The historical records between these two puts the Pirates, Pittsburgh's baseball club, the Pirates now, ahead by 1,230 games to 1,085 games over Philadelphia's baseball club.
I love that so much. That's so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
So many games.
The Nationals at the Orioles. This is the Beltway Series. Historically, the Orioles win 58 out of to 43. 58 to 43. I think that makes a little bit of sense. Okay. Mets Yankees. This is the Subway Series. Yankees 80 to the Mets 66 wins. That's all time for the Subway Series. And this will be in the Boogie Down starting Friday. The Rays will be at the Marlins. Historically, the Rays have won more games. That's an 81 to 60 game series record between the two teams. The Angels will go down the street to the Dodgers, which is like 17 hours away, so give them their name back. But the Angels will go down the street to the Dodgers. Historically, the Angels have beaten the Dodgers more, 75 to 73. The Athletics will play the Giants at Oracle Park in San Francisco. Historically, the Athletics have won 89 to 79. Now, those are the ones that make a lot of sense. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out those ones. Now,
and also like look at this real quick too. Like look at the Angels and the Dodgers, the A's, the Giants, the Yankees and Mets. And I think the Nats and Orioles doesn't really count because the Nats haven't been around that long.
Cleveland, and Cincinnati,
and the Reds, and then the White Sox and the Cubs. Like those teams have been around a while, and like look how many games they played against each other. It's because don't forget the AL and the NL never played each other in the regular season, like ever.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But then you look at the Pirates and the Phillies, like they've been around forever, and both in the National League. So don't forget that was a thing, and like pretty recently. In the grand scheme, did we get interleague play, and then did we get interleague play that's like everybody?
Oh yeah,
and not just your rivals, because that's what it was for a little bit.
Yep, so exactly.
It's really interesting how the scheduling has changed over the last 30 years, even to give us what we have now with these teams and actual legitimate rivals that are pretty cool, like these. And then go ahead with the ones that need some justification, Brig.
Okay, these ones make less sense and need justification. So the Tigers, they're calling the Blue Jays a rival, okay? They're both American League teams. They're only 231 miles apart, which is kind of, I think, what they're doing. Now, don't forget, they also have to balance out the schedule. Just because you're not playing in a traditional rivalry doesn't mean you don't need to be playing baseball those 3 days. So they're finding ways to generate, I think, a rivalry, which is cool. And so they've picked some smoke bomb to throw in the fire to see, or a stink bomb or whatever. Okay, so the Tigers are the Blue Jays. They're 230 miles apart. Historically, the Jays win 247 to 212. Now, the Braves will be in Fenway playing the Red Sox. This one makes sense because both of them used to be Boston teams. Milwaukee, the Braves went from Boston to Milwaukee to Atlanta. So they were the Boston Braves for a long time. And plus Chris Sale, right? That's
absolutely
cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool storyline.
That was the first thing I thought of before Boston, Brig.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think of a lot of things before I think of Boston, so that makes sense. That was from Mike Farnes and my dad. All right. So historically, the Red Sox have outperformed the Braves 50 to 44. The Cardinals will play the Royals. They call this the I-70 series. So it's been around a little bit of time. It's not uncommon, but they're not in the same state, and there's not a natural rivalry there other than
hold on.
I think
don't the Royals play in Missouri? Yeah.
You mean the Cardinals?
Are you
talking about the Royals?
Are St. Louis, Missouri, but the Royals, they're on the Missouri side of Kansas City.
No, they're on the Kansas side, aren't they?
Are they on the Kansas side? Well, I'm going to look it up right now. You continue doing your thing.
You better look it up, because that's... I don't know, baseball family, you got to tell us. Is this a natural rivalry? Do you guys even care? I didn't... Looking, kind of combing through this, it didn't...
Yeah, they're on the Missouri side.
Are they?
Yeah.
Huh.
Based on my map by 2 inches.
Okay, so, you could throw a rock and hit the border, probably.
Just about, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, and they are talking about moving. They want to build a new facility or a new stadium, whatever. So that'll be interesting. But the I-70 series, historically, the Cardinals have won more, 76 to 52 games. Twins and Brewers. The Twins have beaten the Brewers 255 times to 242. This one I know that geography and team availability probably helped justify this one. Like, who's not already in a natural rivalry? We can't put the Cubs and Brewers together because we're doing crosstown over there with the White
Right.
Sox and Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to do? I think that's what this is. And they
That's
both come
It's
from
just like
a similar
the
part
Red
of the
Sox
country.
and the Braves. You can't
Yeah.
put the Red Sox with the Yankees because the Yankees are already playing the Mets.
And we play them all the time anyway. So it's
Right.
it's all thing. We don't need to extra billing. And then the Rockies and the D-backs, this is like the Rocky Mountain Classic, I think is what they call this, or will be calling this, or hope we will all be calling that that from now on, the Rocky Mountain thing. 262 to 209 in favor of the D-backs historically.
Well, the thing that's funny
Now,
about that is that my son actually asked me, he's like, Dad, who are the Diamondbacks rivals? Like, I don't know, like maybe the Rockies because the Giants have a rival, the Dodgers have a rival, like the Padres are more rivals with the Dodgers. Like, I don't
way
know.
more.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe like the Rockies, but the Rockies stink, so I don't know if you can call that a rivalry. Well, apparently Major League Baseball is calling it a rivalry despite the fact
They
that the
are.
Rockies stink. So
Rockies, you better get ready to rock and roll because you got something
rivalry
to be.
weekend, throw out the records, Brig.
Get after it. Yeah, as I'm bringing
how it
up all the
goes.
records. Yeah. Okay, this is the one I saved this one for last. It makes me laugh. It makes the least amount of sense of all of these, and I have decided that the justification for this is wild. So the Mariners will play in San Diego versus the Padres. They're calling it the Vetter Cup because Eddie Vedder has once lived in either Seattle or San Diego at different times. Okay. Now I know Eddie Vedder is a big deal in Seattle, obviously.
Really? Yeah, big time.
Like a big deal, right? But do they care about Eddie Vedder at the same level, to the same degree that they do in Seattle? I sincerely doubt it. So,
Probably not.
guess what?
Yeah, I mean,
Guess what they're gonna do to help stoke the fire of this faux rivalry that they are manufacturing for you. They have got an Eddie Vedder Cup. It will be a trophy. There will be a guitar on it, and Eddie Vedder himself will present the cup to the winning team at the end of this
That's what needs to
pretend rivalry.
So the one thing that's funny about this rivalry is that Major League Baseball has been trying to like sell this rivalry for years, Brig.
I
Like
know.
for years. And a lot of the time they're like even like the broadcasters are like, I don't know, literally on opposite ends of the coast. Like maybe that's what it is. Like you can't go a whole lot more north, you can't go any farther south, United States. Like maybe that's it, right? Well, okay, how about this? They share a spring training facility, so maybe there's a little bit. No, nobody cares,
Nope.
right? If anything, like they're sharing batting gloves with each other, like during games and whatever, because they're sharing the
Are
same.
you guys out of
facility.
sunflower seeds?
They're
you need some
neighbors.
bubble
They're
gum?
neighborly. Like these two teams play each other, and you never get a bad vibe ever from any of those
No.
games. Like they'll go play.
No
The Mariners
doubt.
will go play 2 games in San Diego, and it's like getting out of the cold for a couple days. This is nice.
Yeah.
Like very welcoming and warm hosts. This is great. You know, like
Yep.
hardly a rivalry. If anything, these
So-
guys like they're boys, right? Like,
Yeah. Right. This is our block, right? Not us and you, ours. So historically, the Mariners have won more games in this fake rivalry, 68 to 63 against the Padres. All right.
and then we'll continue.
Yeah, well, who cares? Even Seattle fans don't care. They're like, we're better than we love them.
Seattle
All
the
right.
South, San Diego the North. It's all the same.
What you brought this up, what I think is interesting is that there are lots of American League, National League competitions going on. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think that is a big deal. But I think it's a big deal because they are going to expand. And then when they add 2 new teams, they're going to rearrange and realign the entire divisional structure. And when they do that, we might break completely away from American and National Leagues. So
Very well could, yeah.
what they're doing with this is they are laying the groundwork for all of the transitions they're hoping we take a liking to when it's going to happen. That is exactly what this is. It is more this is more calculated than there. This is not just fun. There's a lot
Right.
going on here. Okay.
I think you're right.
All right. Brad, tell us about Tristan Casas, and then we'll get out of here.
All right, real quick. This is the last thing. This is a bigger deal than I think some people are realizing. Okay, so Tristan Casas, for those of you who don't know, he was running out. Looked like I think it was a dribbler, just a little dribbler, running down the first base line, and he kind of hit the bag hard with his right foot. And then as he came, this is against the Twins, so Ty France was playing first base, hit the bag hard with his right foot, and then as his left foot came through, he clipped Ty France's foot with his. So just a really small collision, but you could see as he was falling to the ground, because it kind of bent his knee really far, not hyperextending, but folded in half more than what he intended to. And as he was falling to the ground, you could see he's in a ton of pain. Ruptured his patellar tendon. He's going to be out for the rest of the year, probably into next year, because this is a major injury. This is big time. I would rather tear my ACL than tear my patellar tendon. This is
for sure
bad news for him. But this is the thing, Brig. This is going to affect the future of baseball. Let me tell you how. Safety bag.
I knew you were gonna. As I'm watching it right now, and it was like a swinging check swing bunt situation.
Yeah.
And so he goes hauling up the first baseline, and right foot lands on the corner of the bag like it's supposed to, and then he comes through and he clips the toe on.
So this is the thing. This is the first year they have the safety bag in college baseball. Across Division I, highest levels of college baseball has the safety bag. With a safety bag, this collision doesn't happen. Does he still get injured? I don't know. But his foot doesn't get clipped by Ty France. Because this is the thing that's always been funny to me about first base specifically, is that the base runner, the batter runner, is supposed to run in foul territory. That's where that lane is, right? He was running in fair territory. If they had, I can't remember who threw the ball. Was that Joe Ryan?
Whoever the catcher was, I don't know.
If he had thrown the ball and hit Casas in the back, he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
Because he was running in fair territory.
That's right.
You're supposed to be running in foul territory. However, the base is entirely in fair territory. So you want the runner to run in a lane in foul territory and then touch the base in fair territory. Now, I understand you can hit that with your left foot, pushing off to the left side. But what if your right foot? He touched the bag with his right foot first.
He did. He came down first.
That's awkward and puts you in a bad spot. So safety bag puts the entire space in foul territory for the runner, puts him out of. Are there still going to be collisions? Absolutely, there will still be collisions because sometimes the first baseman gets pulled across the line trying to catch a ball, right? It happens. That's baseball season. But this type of collision, where there's a collision with feet on the bag, are almost entirely eliminated by having the safety bag in place. Now, will this happen this year? No. It won't.
No.
Will it happen next year? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if this offseason they were like, hey, let's get that safety bag in place so we don't have stuff happen like Tristan Casas. But after next season, we have the CBA expiring, and that's why it's not going to happen next year. It's going to be part of that. It's going to be a place where they can come together because players want players to stay healthy. Owners want players to stay healthy because that means more money for everybody in the end.
Yep.
And so we probably will not see it until 2027, but it's coming, and this is going to be the thing that gets it going. So they're like, yeah, let's do this.
Now, I can see it not being a full safety bag, but I can see them expanding first base in one-dimensional direction and moving it to overlap the line a little bit by an inch and a half, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever it ends up being, instead of like a full softball-style safety bag.
I think they're going to have a full safety bag because it's not just softball anymore. And my thing is that, Brig, if my local rec league can get a safety bag, Major League Baseball can get a safety bag and have it installed properly as well.
They are going to weigh that against baseball's historical obsession. That is going to be part of the discussion.
They made the bags bigger 4 years ago, Brig.
It wasn't even that long ago. But they're going to weigh this against optics. They're going to weigh this against historical context.
Nope.
Yes, you watch. There are going to be fans who are going to be like, "We've never."
Well, yeah,
and
there are going to be fans like, "We'll go switch to slow pitch because
exactly."
Like,
yes.
but I don't care about that. Nobody cares about that guy, Brig.
Okay,
Major League
you're
Baseball
right.
is going to be like, this is a safety thing, and we're going to do it. We don't care what you say. But the other thing that what we do need them to do though is we need them to tell us when they're going to do it, so we don't just like show up to a game one day and be like, "Oh my gosh, look, there's a safety back." Just like I wanted to talk about this before we don't have a whole lot of time. Oh my gosh, we've shrunk the buffer zone in the strike zone.
Oh,
we told everybody.
We will get
everybody
into
says
that.
We didn't. We need to we'll save that for Thursday.
We'll save that. We'll talk about that Thursday. All right. And
anyway.
Too bad for Tristan Casas. He's had a terrible year. He didn't even get to reach the Mendoza line. And so maybe he'll get to fix whatever else needs fixing. All right, baseball family, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review the show anywhere you're able. And with that, we're going to see you Thursday night, 9:30. We're going live. With that, baseball family, thanks so much. We'll see you then.